going on, everybody? This is episode five, maybe episode five, episode five of Google News Update. What's going on? This is your host, Mike Baker, and always with me is my host, co-host, Mike Bennett.
What's
What's
going
going
on,
on, man?
everybody? I'm chilling, man. Just over here, just chilling like a villain. I'm
Chilling
sad.
like a
See,
villain in
I'm
the middle.
kind of burnt down from the shopping. So I'm just, I'm here to just, talk my shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's what we
yeah.
do.
Everybody feeling them pains, man. Like, man, just got paid and it's already gone
It's
because
done, man.
the last minute shopping holidays, y'all. Like that's just what that be. It's nonstop. I'm trying to hide as much as possible. Like I'm not communicating with nobody, and nobody know where I'm at. They like, where the gifts at? I don't even know you, bruh.
How you
Uh,
spell that? GIF?
you're like, that's me. Really?
Yeah.
But yeah, today we got a couple articles for y'all. For the Google News update. First article that we have is Google CEO Sundar Pichai gets $240 million pay package and a salary increase. So,
Me.
in other words, he gets $240 million separate from his salary. But that's yeah, whatever, man.
Yeah.
Uh, Next article is how Facebook is building an operating system that so it can ditch Android. Essentially, they want to stop being on the Android platform. I figure, uh, I mean, you only got Android and iPhone, so I mean, you can't get rid of iPhone because Apple won't allow you. So I guess Android is. And last article we have is the new House privacy proposal, which would curb data collection by Google and Facebook. Which kind of actually goes along with one of the articles that we were talking about earlier
Yeah.
in another show. Y'all need to check out that other show so y'all can figure out what that article is. But for the first one, let's go ahead and talk about this Sundar Pichai. This dude got for $240 million in a pay package. This pay package being mostly stock options um, based on performance. But essentially, if you didn't listen to our show last week, go ahead and listen to our show last week about how Sundar Pichai is now the CEO of. Uh, well, he's already been the CEO of Google, but now he is now also the CEO of Apple, Alphabet, not Apple, Alphabet, which is Google's
Parent
parent
company.
company. Yeah,
Yeah.
they essentially Google is an umbrella of a couple of other companies. Even though Google is the top dog money earner out of all of them,
Not all of
uh,
them.
Sundar Pichai now just essentially oversees all of the different companies, included with Apple, included with Alphabet. I keep calling it Apple. I think it's just the whole A.
Yeah.
Uh, but like so his part of his package, he gets this $240 million based on stock options, based on performance. And so essentially he has stock now. And if he is able to improve the quality of these businesses as a whole, I believe it's over, I want to say over 5 years or so. But it may be maybe 3 years. But if he's essentially able to improve the performance of all these businesses in general, he could essentially leave out with up to $240 million when he walks out of the door. Um, and based on the article, they said up to $360 million. So that's a whole another thing.
That's
But
crazy. That's
um,
crazy.
he already gets a salary of $2 million, which is just his traditional yearly earnings,
Excuse
just being
me.
an employee. Which
How
is,
you
I
get
mean, that's a great salary.
40? That's 2 million. Like I didn't know that you can make that type of money at a job. I didn't know that,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if your job is running all of Google, then
but
you you got some money coming. I mean, because he also does like for the most part, he is a figurehead, but I mean, he's been in the company actually working with product and pushing companies to actually develop better products, and the products that they're creating actually building support systems around those products and making them actually like products that people want to pay for, not just something that Google gives away. Because one of the biggest things with Google for a majority of its business life, um, they made money off of advertising, but the rest of their businesses basically doesn't make anything. Um, they
that
just
makes
they
sense.
just
Yeah.
They just made so much on advertisement that they can jump into other businesses and see how they do. Um,
That's how
companies,
it is.
yeah, like the G Suite, Google Cloud, um, Android with the whole app development, app
Mhm.
stores and all of that. They make money off of that, but for the most part, it's just advertisement. So they're trying to figure out new ways to get into this business and well, get into the business of making money beyond ads because
Yeah,
ads
yeah.
are going away. Now the whole process of tracking an individual is ultimately going away. So they got to figure out new ways to do that business.
How I
And
get, yeah, because they don't want the company to tank when they always say that in as far as business, the power one having one of anything is when you're not in a place of power. You know what I mean? So if you only make if the
mhm,
majority of your money comes from that one thing, like that's you're in a bad position. That's a
yeah,
bad business model.
like Jesus said, you gotta diversify your bonds. Like, like that's what it is. I mean, like you gotta have what do you say? You put all your eggs in one basket type thing. That's when it becomes a problem. And I mean, tracking has been a major issue over the past couple of years. Privacy is a major issue, and it's going to be continuing to be a major issue as the courts start um, actually pushing legislation. As Congress starts actually pushing ruling against these companies. Facebook is included, Amazon is included. Um, they got to find other ways to make business, and part of that was why they even created Alphabet in the first place because they have a lot of other businesses that they're in that could be big money makers on their own. They just it didn't make sense for them to be a part of Google itself.
Mhm.
So they are looking to try to find ways for these other businesses to potentially make money, and he can make money for him if he knows what he's doing. I don't know.
But
I
see,
do not
a
know.
part of why I think Google has been able to survive for so long is because they provide so much value up front that what they actually make in advertising or like their usage fees, their subscriptions, man, it's like it's nothing. Like I think with G Suite is like only like $15 a month or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like back in the day, for like
Well,
for
G
something,
Suite, G Suite is only like $5, $6 a month.
yeah.
Actually, we sell it's $6 a month for G Suite, and that's the whole platform. Like,
So yeah, you think about stuff like that, man. It's going to be difficult making that change to where you're could almost seem like with my thing. I think with Google, why they've been able to grow so like fast and take up so much space is that they almost kind of run it like as if it's nonprofit, right? For all of
mhm,
the services that they provide, it's like it almost seems like they're not worrying about profit at all, but they make so much bank
yeah.
from ads, so they're
Used to,
making the switch.
I used to think it was like a really intelligent thing for them. Like they made money off of giving things away for free.
There you go.
I mean, they gave away Google search for free. They gave away Gmail for free. They give away YouTube essentially for free to the public, and it's the businesses that have to pay. I mean, so like if you want a business to actually, if you want to advertise or anything, you want to do any type of marketing on our platform, you pay us. And the people that need to use this, the stuff that need video YouTube so that they can research a new thing, or need Google search so that they can research something, needs Google Maps so that they can find where they need to go, they don't have to pay anything. I mean, it's just the people that it's the companies that want to advertise. And initially, you think that's a great thing, but at the same time, you are giving away that information, and it's like the value of what your information is worth. Like, what is your data worth? Like, I think it's kind of worth it for some of these free services. Some things I still pay for.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I pay for through Google. I give Google like maybe about 100, $115 a month based on certain things. It's all Google has a lot of different services, and I use a lot of their services.
That's probably because
Uh,
they're giving you about $5,000 worth of
but
services, man.
yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, because they give me so much in service, I benefit so much from using them, and like I sell their products, I market their products to people, and like I benefit from them being a country as a company as a whole. They have a whole economic structure that people can feed off of. I mean, in both ways, you can be a consumer and you can push out stuff, and like it benefits me per se. But like just at the larger world, they don't have. a real diverse system. They don't have a diverse market for the people that need to be paying stuff right now. A lot of it is just through advertisement. They don't have a lot of consumers in a lot of other industries that they also offer. But we'll see what's going to happen with this Sundar Pichai thing because they about to pay him big money. And, he better be able to perform or else he's out.
Oh yeah. Does that 240 come with a any stipulation? Like if you don't perform, then you don't get, or is it just that's just
Yeah, I mean, that's based on performance. I mean, based on that article
mm.
anyway. That's based
Oh,
on
that's what it says
performance.
based on performance. Okay, so
Yeah,
it's
so I mean, he
it
got to
ain't
be
too
able.
outrageous.
Yeah, he got to be able to keep the money. He has to at least have an upswing. I mean, I don't know how far up he has to do, but I'm sure it can't be anything negative over the next 3 years.
Makes sense. Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, I'm not jealous of the guy or nothing. Just want to know where
Yeah,
that money coming from.
yeah. Oh, I mean, it's coming from the ads, baby. It's coming from the ads. Next article that we have is Facebook is building an operating system that it can ditch Android. Um, all right, so
Mm,
I mean, I think they tried this one time before. Didn't they come out with like a Facebook phone? And they came out with like a variant of Android. I swore they did.
yeah,
Um, and it was like maybe 2010 or sometime. But essentially, what they're trying to do again is get rid of Android because I mean, it can't be two companies stealing all your data. It can only really be one for real. I mean, that's ultimately what it is. I mean, so like,
yeah,
that's
that's what it
really
is. Yeah, that's it.
that's what it really is. And like,
It's one company with this shit under different names. It's all
yeah, and like
by
Facebook,
way of other companies.
they like we need to be that guy right now. We need to be the one that's doing all this, that's collecting all this data. Like we said, what we talked about last time, it's Facebook has the top four apps in both the iPhone market and the Android market. So, I mean, it says right there that they are, and Facebook is nothing but communication apps. Ultimately, it's all about social networking. All four of those apps is WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, and Facebook Messenger. All four of those are just meant to be about communication. And I mean, it would make sense for them if they wanted to just pull everybody off, if they just pulled those four apps off of iPhone, off of Android, and put them onto their own devices, onto their own operating system, and say you have to at least use this operating system if you want to have Facebook or Instagram or anything on there. And they
I
made it
think it
so
would
that
do damage.
you think it would hurt Facebook or you think it would hurt
Oh
Google?
no, I think it hurt Google for sure. Like for bro, that's what we use every day. Like any
Yeah,
person, unless you're one of these people that is, won't be so high and might say you're above social media. You
yeah,
have
yeah.
Facebook, and you more likely have Instagram, and most like you go every day checking. It's a part of your life. It's not like something that was cool back in the day. Like now you're part of like the cool kids, like that remnant of people who are above like society because you're in this platform. No, no, no. It's not like that no more. Like
Hmm.
Facebook is a part of life. So it's like if they remove that component from like from the Google, from the Google universe and just make it solely theirs, like I think Google would take a hit. Definitely.
Yeah. Do you think the third parties would also follow suit? Like if Facebook decides that they're going to create a operating system or essentially their own phones or whatever that only can use Facebook and it's just basically the Facebook phone and iPhones can use them. Um, do you think all the other app developers that create stuff for Android phones will also just say, "Fuck, we just only going to create stuff for Facebook phones"?
Um, I think that there will be so people would still create stuff for Android just because of like how powerful. Let's not forget that Android in of itself is still a powerful entity. You know what I mean? Like it's still so people are able to do a lot more with the Android system than they are with other systems, right? But I think what happens with that newness, if people buy into, like people are easily indoctrinated. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
by them making that move and it's solid, where they say this is what it is, they draw that line in the sand. You're gonna have a surge of people that want to be on that boat because a part of that is that when Facebook breaks away and make their own thing, them going into like their policies and what's right and what's wrong, or what's the correct thing to do on this platform, it's still going to be in its infancy. So, and I think that people look at that just as much as I'm looking at it right now. People look at that as an opportunity to go in and do a lot more, have a lot more control over what it is they want to put out and the things they develop to, kind of gain headway on creating their own movement, or like getting, having their way with the audience that they're trying to tap into. So I
Yeah.
think it's something that Facebook is big enough where if they were to break away, they would still be the little brother of all the other tech titans out there, but they have a strong enough piece, involving all of these other tech titans. If it's taken away, that it'll do some damage, and it'll be something to see of where what comes of it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they'll benefit crazy. They already have, they have so many apps already that work with Facebook. You have, they have those Facebook Messenger apps that people install and you can play games with each other and stuff like that. They can spin those out to just become independent apps on Facebook's phones. And
Mm.
like essentially they'll run communication at that point, because most people communicate via one of those four apps. Is either communicating with WhatsApp or Instagram, Facebook, or Messenger. And if you're not communicating on one of those four, you're basically resorting back to like text messaging
Mm.
and phone calls. And I mean, the traditional people from the 90s transition, like people that transition from the 99 to the 2000. I mean, like those people will probably, occasionally want to stay on their Android or whatever. But for the most part, a lot of people will switch over and just be like, if they find a compelling phone, a phone that just be like, yo, that's almost as compelling as an iPhone type thing, but it came from Facebook and it's not Google involved. Yeah, I could see Facebook eating away at Google's lunch real quick. I mean, for advertising purposes, but also for ecosystem, because main thing is that whole ecosystem. Like, can they support all the third party developers? And like they got the whole VR thing with the Oculus Quest and the Oculus Go and all of that stuff.
Oh, you talking about the augmented reality joints? Okay, yeah,
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 yeah, the virtual reality headsets, and they got those speakers, those they don't have a smart speaker per se, but I'm sure they plotting on like a smart home assistant or whatever. And like they have those smart home cameras right now that they got the portal,
mm.
where people can video chat with each other and communicate, but then it can also act like a TV or act like um, a picture frame or whatever. So like they're looking to spin out their ecosystem as well to essentially be in that same smart home world, that smart home place. And part of being in that realm where they got hardware, they can't rely on a company like Android with their operating system. I could see them just taking their own version of Android, but that didn't work for them before when they had the first one.
Right.
And I mean, even Amazon got into that game where they cloned a version of Android and tried to spin out their own phones, and nobody took it. So
Nobody, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I want to see what they do with it, but it's a hard fight. But they kind of have to, because, like I said, all this legal stuff that's going at them now, they kind of got to turn themselves into a form of Apple in comparison to like an open system, because the open system is where they've been able to get all that money off of tracking and advertisements and taking people's data, and that's about to die.
Mm.
So if tracking people in advertisements is a system that's slowly getting pulled away from, the rugs getting pulled from under them, then they got to find a place to put their money in something else that'll make them money. And like I said, if it requires on hardware, if it's dependent on creating the
Right.
hardware, that means that they need an operating system, and
Mhm.
they can't rely on Android being their operating system for that.
That makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, because with that, absolutely right. With that stuff going away, man, that definitely changes industries like completely. Like, it almost seems like by them cracking down on it, like internet advertising like changes, like definitely changes forever with that. So with drastic changes like that, of course you got to the question is, how do you replace that revenue, right, that's being generated from that? What could you possibly do? And I think
Yeah,
it just come, what they're doing is tapping into our chorus like thing we need, our most core thing that we need in this day and age, which is we all have phones. You know what I mean? We all
Mhm.
use it. You know, no one really. I know for me, whenever I'm filling out a job application, they ask me for my work phone, my home phone, so that it's all my cell phone. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So like,
yeah.
so well, it
Yeah, I
makes
haven't
sense
had
for
a
me.
home phone in like
Yeah,
15, 20 years. Like a home
right,
phone.
right,
You mean the phone that I got in my home?
right. That's what it
It's
is.
still my cell phone. It's still my cell phone,
Yeah,
but my
but
home phone go with me.
yeah. But yeah, like they're making a smart move by doing that. I think that at first, you have in these industries, people have like staying power, right? They've been there for so long, and they've become the household name. I think a
Mhm.
lot of times that's what holds like big transitions, like what I think Facebook's trying to do with creating their own operating system. Is what holds them up. But they've built a strong enough brand now, and become so much more of a so much more of a they have a place in everybody's lives now, that by them doing that, it's a good play to be able to maintain business and even see where it goes.
Yeah, I mean, they're a full-on platform because I mean, it used to be where they would just, Facebook the website, but they got companies that eat off of them now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, like, they're essentially a ecosystem. Yeah, I mean, they spawn new things that just live off of them. I mean, that just lives off of Facebook living. I mean, just because
Mm,
Facebook exists, other companies exist. I
there you
mean,
go.
so they got moves that they can make.
Mm.
Let's go ahead and check out this last article. New House policy proposal would curb data collection by Facebook and Google. Basically, going into what we're talking about, like it's just changing.
Pretty much, yeah.
Um, there's a draft legislation from the House Energy and Commerce Committee, uh, which oversees online privacy issues. They could diminish companies' ability to monitor users across the web and require them to get permission to share their their customers' data with each other or with
Mm.
others. Essentially, this is just part of what we were talking about, what we've been talking about, what we're going to continue to probably be talking about over the next couple of years because it's a big issue is data privacy, data collection, and like the consequences and the responsibilities that these companies have, and then the consequences that they have to be given if they are found to be like just giving out our data like just like throwing pennies around. They just give our data out to whoever can access it. And
Mm.
um, we can't necessarily trust who all these companies are. Like it's really like you can't just give 250 million records to some unknown entity, and all they had to do was sign up on a website. I mean, like they have to deal with more scrutiny than that. And um, I mean, essentially, it's become one of those things where since nobody is really taking it upon themselves to really be responsible with our data, because it seems like somebody's getting hacked every week. Your Wawa's just got hacked. I mean,
Oh, why?
I
What?
mean,
What?
Wawa convenience store, they just got hacked. Like
Got hacked?
the
Why?
headquarters. Yeah, I mean the headquarters got hacked because they had public credit card information on there. So exposed credit card data is has been
Wow.
hacked for everybody that has used a Wawa's for however I forgot how many years they said, but like things like that, that's a problem. And like they talk about how they're gonna just give out insurance, what is it, privacy protection insurance, all those companies talking about like LifeLock and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's their answer to it. It's basically they're just gonna give everybody LifeLock accounts that used it at some point in time. But like
I know I've been at Wawa's, man. Wawa's is man, because I don't they don't have one down here in Atlanta, so I've been
yeah, yeah. They
but
they, they
they hits, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
they big northeast. And
Yeah.
I mean, they I don't know, between them and 7-Eleven, like they definitely have. I don't know, 7-Eleven, I think is like 10 times bigger, but um nonetheless, have you gotta have that data protected. And for a company like Wawa that everybody uses here and there, and having all that stuff be sent back to a central location that could just get hacked as it did, that's a problem. And they're at the point now with this policy, essentially if they're going to be responsible for collecting the data, they got to hold the data. They can't just give it to anybody, and they got to allow the people that they collected be able to access that data and be responsible for, like, if they want them to be able to collect it anymore, and if they want to remove themselves from being part of their collection list while still being able to use whatever service. I mean,
Right.
like, if, like I said, I think we talked about this earlier, if Facebook becomes a paid system or if Google becomes a paid service, what is that worth to people? Whereas, like, I can pay to not have my data collected. And, like, is that even a thing? Is that a thing that has to even happen? Should we be telling companies, should companies be able to tell us that our data is even being collected no matter what, and we have to pay to not have it collected? Or
Yeah,
should the
yeah.
governance be able to step in and be able to be like, yeah, you know what? Y'all doing too much. We gotta
Yeah,
lock
so
y'all down.
how would they press? How they gonna press us? Like, look, man, that's what it is. You're getting collected, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's kind of weird for them to, if they gonna move like that. No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's crazy. But they're planning on putting this out there, and it's going to stop both Facebook and Google. It's slowing them down right now. What they all of these moves that they're planning on making, all the stuff that we hear about now, is them just um, deciding on what's the new steps that they're going to take and what's the new business that they're going to get themselves into, because policy is being created, but nothing is law yet, and things are still in play right now. And this is the time that they need to be making their decision, their strategies, and that's what you hear about mostly with all this new news. It's like the new strategy that they're going to be trying out. Nothing is in effect, but
Mm,
these are the new things that they're going to be trying out because they got to get into something before, like, the Congress gets in and starts passing bills and placing fines on them. So, like, it's like this thing that they're talking about here is going to happen January 1, but nothing is getting enforced. Like, for one, this is only in California.
so
Um,
yeah, I mean, California is all the West Coast, right? I mean, it's
yeah,
still, that's a big state,
yeah,
big
but
state.
that's what I'm saying. Like, this is all in California right by itself. It's a big state. It's like good size of 3 or 4 other states, and it's only happening January 1, but doesn't get enforced to July. So they got like 6 months to attempt to try to do something to change up, but it's only so much they're gonna be able to
That's
do in 6 months.
that's difficult, yeah, because these companies been around for more than 6 months,
Yeah, they've been around for like 10, 15, 20
and
years.
they've
So,
been
like,
changing their business model like that to affect. Yeah, that's gonna be
yeah,
tough, man. But hey,
yeah, you can't steer Titanic. That's how the Titanic sunk, because he tried to steer too late, type thing. So, like, that just is what it is. But I'm gonna be sitting and watching. I'm laughing the whole time because I'm trying to I'll be pulling my data in and out, and I'll be changing up what my data actually says about me. I use multiple different accounts, and I
yep,
think
same here.
I'm actually contemplating quitting my account again and starting fresh. I usually, every like 5 to 10 years, I usually just kill an account and start fresh with it, so
Start
that
over.
all the data that they had collected on me already just is null and void. So I'm contemplating doing that again.
Then you gave
It
me an
get
idea, man.
tedious. It get
Because sometimes,
tedious.
yeah, like I'm looking at, because I've changed and
Yeah,
me
yeah.
going into corporate America now, man. There's certain things, certain radical views I had before that. Shit, I'm about to implicate myself. Look, it's
Yeah, man.
good. Never mind all of what I just said. I've been the same consistent guy all my life, and I've always been a good guy. But
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
good practice. I think what you're saying to yeah, every so often, every
Gotta give
certain amount of
yourself
years,
that clean
yeah,
slate, man. Gotta give
yeah,
yourself that clean slate. Cause yeah, you never know what I mean. Yeah, we all are changing people, but people don't never stink. Everybody think their shit don't stink type shit. So, like, they always will be quick to point the finger at somebody for something that they did back in the day, forgetting the thing that they did back in the day.
yeah. It's
Yeah, I
I
mean,
seen a video earlier this week by these people, these guys, Ab and Priest. They do video reviews on YouTube. They were
mhm,
saying like how it was this guy. I can't remember the story completely, but basically they pulled up him his like racist views he may have had. He was like maybe 16 when he made it, but he's like 27 now.
yeah,
And it's like it's
yeah,
being used against them. But then it was crazy. Even like the people, so the person that called him out on it also had racist tweets that they pulled up from back in the day. So it's like
exactly,
that stuff, man.
exactly.
Like, is what I mean? They're gonna have something on everybody, but yeah, you said like a way of going about at least managing it on the surface level from what we can conceive is just to give us that refresh, And I think that
Yeah,
by going with that refresh and looking at what they're talking about in this article, man, it may be moving towards it can be a double-edged sword because I think that once there's enough information out there, we talked about it a little bit earlier in the other article with Facebook. They being exposed, like 267 million people being exposed all that information.
Check
So
that out
like
on
that's
another
out
show.
there. Yeah, yeah, to air on the other show. But at the same time, now that they cracking down like this, maybe this could just be a start of like just how social network and social media is now. I mean, so
Yeah,
we'll see where it goes, man. We'll see where it
yeah.
goes.
It'll be good to see. As long as they got informed people up there, man, because that's half of the thing. Like when you look at these
Yeah,
people like Congress now, like you see them sitting there trying to figure out, like they're asking Mark Zuckerberg how their iPhone work, like shit like that. You'd be like,
just
yo,
don't. Yeah,
you wasting this man time. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
he worth $40 billion. You asking this dude why his iPhone don't work the right way? Like you talking to the wrong person for
right.
one, and then you asking them stupid questions. Like as long if we got some informed people up there making legislation and making the right rules, because a lot of this stuff benefits us. A lot of these services, all this technology benefits us in some form of way. That's why we're using it. It's just that there are some moments in time that it becomes problematic, and we gotta tighten up and button up those problematic parts.
Yeah,
And I don't want
yeah,
anybody that's making some blanket ass decision because he ain't smart enough. He don't want to know. He lazy about the
yeah.
decision.
He's not.
I
He's
just
not invested enough. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just making sure they actually work and paying attention and just making right decisions for the masses of us. But yeah, man, this is the last article. Let me go ahead and shut this shit down.
yeah,
Um, Anybody that want to listen to this, anybody that want to go ahead and know more about our show, come check out the website too, man. We got the website popping. It's
yeah.
bohemia.media. We plotting on some things. I'm plotting on some things, man. We're gonna plot some things. But
Mhm.
bohemia.media, you can look at there and you see all our shows that we got popping up there. We got videos on there and you can subscribe to us on there. Um, but always, if you just following us on any of this Facebooks, on the podcast or anything, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you see a share button, go ahead and share with your friends on social media and tell your friends about us. Tell your techie cousin, your uncle, and all that stuff. Tell us that we exist out here because we definitely keeping this thing going. Got people that's already listening, give us feedback and stuff, but the more the merrier.
Well, definitely, man. Just to add on, Mike. I mean, like what you're just saying in this article, bro. Like, you know, people are already incompetent enough. That's why it's part of why we do this, man. Is that a lot of us we use it. The senator asking how to use the iPhone and shit like that. Like,
Hmm.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he uses technology, so he probably needs to listen to this show so he can hear our scrutiny and
Yeah,
our criticisms towards these companies, man, so you can be better informed. But we get off our soapbox, man. Like you said, like, comment, subscribe, follow us on all our social medias. Go to the website. We got some stuff coming your way that's really gonna yeah. Just stay tuned, man. It's looking like it's gonna be really good going into 2020, and we want to bless y'all with what we've been blessing y'all with, which is some strong and hard and true criticisms of what's going on in the IT industry, and then we big up those who are doing the right thing. So like you said before, like, comment, subscribe. That's pretty much all I got to say.
yeah, man. We plotting. Holla.